Chopping up stockers, Zach the stock cropper, coming to you from a parched northern hinterland. The sheep agrees. We've got this hose running because it doesn't want to rain. It was supposed to rain this morning and it got within about 10 miles and then it quit. So we're just going to start soaking the earth and hope that helps our situation. But it's getting pretty serious here. The project is definitely being impacted. Our pastures are really feeling it. The corn's feeling everything needs a drink, and there's no rain for the next 10 days. But we're going to soldier on anyway. We got a lot of stuff still happening, and we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to start off first with Thea and Juice's adventure of going to get laying hens for the system. That's what we're going to lead off with now.
So I'm here at Hoovers Hatchery picking up some of our new laying hens. We didn't have laying hens last year, and so this is a new thing for us to do in the stock cropper this year. We got about 15 hens today, and we'll get about 15 more in a couple weeks. We're very excited. So we are back at Zach's farm where we have transferred the chicks out that were in there about last week. And we put in the new hens, and the chicks are now in the truck ready to go over to the stock cropper farm. So the hens are in their new home, and we got some powder and liquid de-stressing kind of formulas from Hoovers Hatchery, and you put it in their water or in their feed, and it has electrolytes and other things to help them with the transition since traveling is really stressful for them. So they're happy.
So I told you this week we would have animals in the field, and that's what we're aiming to do. So Thea and Juice went and got hens. They just showed you that, and they picked up our broiler chicks, and we just brought them over. And we've got the broiler chicks in the pen. We just filled up their water. So again, the water system on the barn is this PVC pipe that we just fill up with a hose and then put the cap on, and then it just has the little drinkers that they hit. So they'll have to get trained to that. We'll have to kind of watch them and make sure they've got enough water with as hot as it is. But Thea and Juice did a great job of getting the chicken tractors reconditioned for this year. Made some changes. One of the biggest things is our predator fencing. We upped our game. We took some hog pen and cut down the bottom slats and have it so that we can hook these up when we go to move so they don't drag. And then after we make the move, we just let them down. We also added wheels so that it's easier to roll. We didn't want Thea to quit on us, trying to lug these big things around, so we put some tires on. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So Juice is going to get some feed. We're going to get them established, make sure they're figuring out the drinkers, and hopefully we'll have them set. But these things will be here probably for about the next, I would say, 8 weeks. They're about 4 weeks old right now. They should be ready for processing roughly right around Labor Day, first part of September. That's it for that. And full feed begins now. Just made some innovative new feeders out of rain gutters that we had laying in the barn over at the home place. Always an ingenious SOB, right, Juice?
Yep. Why spend $50 on a feeder when
you got a gutter laying there?
Yep, you got the supplies.
Make do or do without.
Red Green would be proud.
So a lot of people worry about how does the heat, in a summer like this impact stuff. Well, we had a hot stretch last year too, and the nice thing with this barn is all the extra shade that we have built in, not only underneath the roof, but these panels that come out. And when in the heat of the day, you can come out and see that they have a nice cool spot to lay in the shade in the grass outside too, so they can have some good air movement. So it's actually really comfortable even when it's 95 degrees being out here, especially if you've got a good breeze. And it just makes for a nice place to have them without too much heat stress here in the summertime. So the other thing I'll say is we just had some visitors from the Green Bay area that wanted to stop out and see the setup. So they were our first official site visitors to the year. So thanks to those folks for coming out. They were interested in what we were doing and some of the stuff Jason Mock has been working on as well. So all we have left to put in the Cluster Cluck 5000 here is the pigs, and I'm thinking this weekend I have time with finishing up my corn spraying, that I'm going to try to go and get them as well, so that we by Monday morning we'll have at least the Cluster Cluck 5000 primed and ready to go. Our big barn was supposed to be here this week, and I told everyone we were going to be launching everything, but unfortunately, due to supply chain constraints that everyone is facing in the world, they're still waiting on a few things to come in as for a final assembly. So we're hoping in the next week that thing will be showing up, and the plan is hopefully within the next week to 10 days we'll have everything out. But we want to at least get one system operating and functioning with the animals that we have on hand. So we're going to get the pigs filled in, and we will be officially stock cropping for 2021. So we're drier than a popcorn fart, and we got big cracks in the ground, but we did have some really good news here in the last day. So I was lucky enough to make it through something called the Papa John Venture Competition, and it was something I won last fall. And I applied for the Iowa state finals of all the people that went through that program. It's an entrepreneurial pitch contest. And I qualified to go to the finals last night down in Cedar Rapids. And so I took our story and our business pitch down to that group, and I pitched to 3 judges and about 100 people in the audience. And the stock cropper came out number 1. We had a lot of head nods with what we were doing as I was presenting stuff, got a lot of good feedback afterwards, and I was lucky enough to walk home with $10,000, which means I can pay Fia and Juice this week, and Fia can go to Clear Lake, and Juice can do what Juice does on the weekends, and I can try to, with what's left over, pay for 3 panels of steel on the new barn. So I want to say a real big thank you to the folks at Papa John and my mentors, Candy and Tim, at the NIACC Papa Johns Center, because they've been really instrumental with helping me get this business off the ground and moving in the right direction. And so last night was a great victory for us, and we're going to keep charging with more stuff like that in the future. So last week we talked a lot about the frost concerns that we had with our corn, and it's recovered relatively well. We still have some plants like these that are tied up, and so you can see that how that's fused still at that tip. It just needs, all that needs is to grow normal, is just to have that happen. And I had big areas in my fields that were like this. And so last Sunday I was trying everything I could figure out how to bust the tops open so the plants could grow, because I was going to probably lose 20 to 30 acres of corn if I didn't do it. So my dad had the idea of going out there with a lawnmower, which was crazy, but it was exactly what I needed to do. So I went out and mowed 20 acres, 2 rows at a time with a lawnmower. And here's some video that Fia has of that experience. So the whole reason that I did that was I was trying to even things up, because we had some plants like this that weren't impacted by the frost at all, and then we had some that were, and they're a lot smaller. And so what I was trying to do was to even everything back up from a size and standpoint, so that these plants wouldn't necessarily be weeds against the others, and you don't want to have unevenness in your corn. And so you know, here in the stock cropper, especially along the rye or the pasture strips we had in our high population, we have more variability because of this. So I may still come out here this weekend and try to mow and clip some of this, because it froze harder next to the pasture because of the vegetation there. So this year has been incredibly frustrating because we've gone from, you know, a really dry spring getting stuff established to dealing with a frost that really screwed everything up for us, and now we can't get it to rain. Like I said, that week's, you know, last week, that's farming, but we really need some good things to happen if we're going to have much success with what we have out here in the field. So if you can pull for some rain for northern Iowa, it really, and a lot of other spots, everybody's dry right now. So, but the weather is definitely impacting the project this year. Okay, so that's it for this week. The last thing I wanted to say is I forgot to do it last week, so my apologies. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you to all of you that have supported us and watched and hit that button. We want you to keep hitting it. But now we have the ability to unlock the live streaming feature. And so one of the things Fia has been working on is figuring out our camera system and mounts. And we will likely, and maybe as soon as this week, that we have the YouTube live stream up. Keep a watch out on our social channels to see when that happens. And we should have lots of good footage of stock cropping for folks to watch all throughout the summer on that. So that's what's cropping up this week. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next week.